И сега ти можеш тоа да ставиш.
Hello, everyone, and good morning, and welcome to our Google Lunar Team Hangouts. This week we have folks from the team Synergy Moon, and this Hangout is brought to you by the Google Lunar XPRIZE Foundation and is hosted by myself, Dr. Pamela Gay. I'm coming to you from CosmoQuest, where we help you map the moon so that teams like these can go and explore it in our not-too-distant future. Now, we are taking audience questions throughout this Hangout, so if you would like to ask any of our participants a question, you can use the Q&A app. That should be visible no matter what page you're on watching this Hangout today. I have a wonderful international team with me today. We have Emir Tanovic coming to us from Bosnia-Herzegovina. We have Kevin Murrick coming to us from the United States. I have to admit, I forgot what country you're coming to us from, Neb. So we have Neb Stanojevic. Where are you from?
I'm originally from Tuzla, from Bosnia, but I'm from all around the world. I lived the last 25 years all around the world. So I come from space.
that is excellent. And then we have Randa Milliron, who is also here in the United States. And I have to admit, looking down the roster of all of the different teams for who are competing for the Google Lunar XPRIZE, this was a team that really stood out as being truly global and having a lot of highly varied backgrounds that you brought to the project. And I'd love it if each of you could tell us a bit about what brought you to this particular team and what inspired you to get involved in basically trying to get yourselves, or at least your very cute little rover, to the moon in the not too distant future. Randa, I'd love it if we could start with you. You're muted. Hold on. Let me fix that.
Are you good?
Yep, you're good.
Okay. I was originally in the first XPRIZE as a contestant with our company Interorbital Systems, and we were building a rocket to try and win that prize. But you know, when someone else who's competing gets $30 million, it's a little hard to catch up.
and that's the Ansari XPRIZE that was won by Scaled Composites, I believe.
Yes, yes. And but we were working on rockets long before that, and we had always had a moon program kind of simmering in the background. When we founded Interorbital Systems, we also founded a nonprofit called Translunar Research, which was dedicated to the colonization and commercial exploitation of the moon. And so that those projects were being worked on it as we were also developing our own rockets to basically ply our trade throughout the solar system. The way we got involved with with Synergy Moon is apparently the group heard about our private lunar sample return mission that we had planned for roughly 2015, 2016, and we were invited to join because we're already building a moon rocket. We had something that could carry the team's rover to the moon, and so we were very happy to join up.
And
we
this
love the eclectic nature of the team as well. And we're both, when I say we, my husband Roderick, who's the main designer, and I are both artists and scientists. And for us, those are just that's the pinnacle of endeavors. If you can combine those those two elements in a project, obviously there's going to be fun with it, and it's going to be super exciting.
And the involvement of Interorbital really makes the Synergy Moon team fairly unique, because you do have, as one of your team's partners, the people putting together your rocket. You're not buying time on a rocket that is perhaps at somebody else's hands to decide to launch or not. That must make you guys feel pretty good about how you're moving forward. Kevin, where did you come into this great collaboration?
Still muted?
Nope, we can hear you.
Okay. Well, I was a space enthusiast. I belonged to a lot of different space advocacy organizations, and I ran a couple of websites dedicated to space and a couple of forums. We watched the Ansari XPRIZE, were very interested and followed that avidly. When the Google Lunar XPRIZE came up, I saw it as a perfect opportunity. So I put together a small group of people and we formed a team, and we registered as a letter of intent team. We looked around for probably about 6 months to a year trying to build a team, and one of the things that we saw in that time was a second team, the team in Europe, which was at that time called the Human Synergy Moon Project. And they were a lot like us in that they were a combination of engineers, artists, social activists. So we kind of started talking with each other, and we decided that we would merge our two teams together. At that time, a third person who kind of wanted to be a sponsor for us introduced me to Randa. So we talked to Randa, I talked to Neb, and we kind of formed Team Synergy Moon. At that time, it was a combination of the Human Synergy Moon Project and Interplanetary Ventures team.
And Amir, you're coming to this from the European side of the collaboration. What brought you into getting to the moon?
Well, from when I was a little one, I was dreaming of.
Can you please speak a little bit louder? I'm sorry.
Yes. Since I was a little kid, I was aiming to be an astronaut, and it turns out at that time astronomer, and with my colleague at astronaut Atlas, and 2010 we hold every year event. We hold 7 days of astronomy. And then I met Nabosh, and he came to be as our guest to speak about astronautic energy moon, Lunar XPRIZE and everything. So it was very interesting to me that I met somebody from my own city who is involved with the space, and that's some good stuff. So finally, we get together, and from 2011, from January, we have been joined the Team Synergy Moon, like education and outreach. We promote astronautics and space traveling where we can. Also, we are doing lots of star parties, lots of education and outreach for the children. We have 3 sections of astrorobotics, and we are in almost every school in my city, and furthermore. This education about astronomy has been shown to people from Bosnia, and we came and find lots of people interested in space, astronomy, and everything.
That's excellent. And Neb, you're one of the ones that travels all over. How did you get connected as you co-founded TSM with all of these wonderful people?
I watched a documentary about Ansari XPRIZE, and when I saw that it was a documentary of the winning of Ansari XPRIZE in the end. So when I saw that, I was really, almost crying watching the documentary, and then that stuck in my mind. After that, I went to sail around the world, and when I was in the middle of Indian Ocean on a small sailing boat, I was looking up in the skies and thinking, when I finish sailing around the world, what is next to do?
And then I said, okay, just to change ship for the spaceship. So when I saw the Lunar XPRIZE, that is now possible to do something like that, and for actually for Ansari XPRIZE for Virgin Galactic, for Virgin Team and everything, you know, I would really go there and bring the coffee just to be part of that. Doesn't matter what. It was really like, okay, first time possibility to do such a thing as a private thing. And of course, I always wanted to float in 0G. That was, and this is how I started. And then when GLXP came out, I formed a team with because by going around the world and doing all the things, and I met lots of people, and I have lots of people who are really engineers who does submarines, artificial intelligence, this and that. And then I just said like, okay, maybe this is possible. So we put team together. Then Kevin contacted me at certain point, and then because we were very similar mind thinking people, or how we call it, we decided to join our teams together. And another thing is really because we come from former Yugoslavia, ex-Yugoslavia, which is now Bosnia, Croatia, Serbia, Slovenia, doesn't matter, and we never had a space program. So the one thing is really just to show our people like, hey, we can do whatever we want to do, and this is the reason why we kick it. And by the way, out of all the for the GLXP and everything, I believe that former Yugoslavia, which is like 6 countries, that more people per capita knows about GLXP, and not only about our team, but about GLXP than in every other country, because we are in the main news. We are all over the papers. We are, you know, whatever happens, you know, we are news for so many years because, hey, look, in the beginning, everybody was ridiculing us, you know, like something like that. But then, bit by bit, especially now with the last launch or test launch with the Interorbital's London rocket, you know, everybody really now start cheering. Wow, let's, you know. So now everybody started believing. And this, and also, you know, sharing this with the kids, with everybody, just to show people, hey, everything is possible if you set your mind to and get good group of people around. And I'm good, you know, how to say, I call myself switchboard. I'm good to find people. So that's about that.
And one of the things that I deeply appreciate about Team Synergy is just how interdisciplinary you are. You have folks that are working on active engineering tasks and getting all of your technology constantly moving forward at a steady rate. You have the education arm that's pushing things out into the school, and then you're also working to inspire people through arts. And I'm hoping that through the rest of the Hangout we will get a chance to touch on all of these different things. But at the end of the day, this is a race to the moon, and you guys have recently got to have some really great testing, and I'd like to go back to you, Randa, and I'll work on pulling up the launch test video, I guess flight test video. You want to give us an intro while I pull up the video?
Yeah, are you? We also have we did a number of engine firings prior to doing the launch. Because we develop our own engines, we don't depend on Russian engines. You know that's become a problem recently, as we were chatting before. But we do absolutely everything in-house, and getting a good, reliable propulsion system is really the first step in any rocket company. It's been about a 15-year development for these rockets. Our propellants are white fuming nitric acid and turpentine, and we take quite a different approach than most people do. We have high-density storable propellants, and this is important for interplanetary travel. You don't have to really babysit the propellants like you do with cryogenic, like liquid oxygen and other cryogenic. So for us, this was a simple solution, and simplifying the whole system was the main goal in Interorbital's approach. But we have come to the point where we're now entering our commercial activity, and the test flight of the what we call a single common propulsion module. That's the rocket, the orbital rocket, and the moon rocket that we're building are made of identical modules that are bundled together. So developing this particular engine and this particular single unit, basically Lego for the whole system, was really a huge milestone, and flying it was also a milestone because we had 4 payloads on board. They were paying customers, and it was really for us as a company. It was the first day of going operational as a commercial rocket company. So this launch is it tested a number of actually, I don't know, Pamela, do you have the rocket engine test, or do you have the flight video?
I was trying to pull up the flight video. We're going to have to watch it through YouTube. I apologize if there's any quality difficulties with this. There's a bit of DRM on the video, it appears like. So hold on, and I'll have that up in a plan.
But as we basically tested a cable launch guidance system. We actually tested the whole rocket controller, the rocket system in flight, a recovery system, and we provided for those payloads, and incidentally, those payloads on this suborbital test flight, those customers have booked flights on our orbital flights, which are coming up probably, I would say, right around the turn of the year, somewhere around the beginning of 2015, it looks like right now. They are some of the 81 payloads that we booked. So they tested the whole rocket controller, the rocket system in flight, a recovery system, and we provided for those payloads, and incidentally, those payloads on this suborbital test flight, those customers have booked flights on our orbital flights, which are coming up probably, I would say, right around the turn of the year, somewhere around the beginning of 2015, it looks like right now. They are some of the 81 payloads that we booked. So they tested the whole rocket controller. They are some of the 81 payloads. So they created the whole. Okay, are we up in real time?
Yes, we're in real time now.
Okay. Yeah, that just ran the video of the test firing of the engine. In order to make sure that the engine works properly, we do these so-called ground tests. They're hot firings, hot static firings, to measure the thrust and to make sure that everything's working properly. That was incidentally a 24-foot long flame on that rocket, and that suborbital test flight provided those customers, as I was mentioning, and one of which was a kind of a notorious payload. The John Frusciante of the Red Hot Chili Peppers launched his new album on that rocket, as well as the Chenkang University of Taiwan with their 2U CubeSat Taro, the M2M2 Sky and Boreal Space, M2M2 Sky from Brazil, Boreal Space from the Bay Area, launching their Wayfinder 1 satellite prototype, and Synergy Moon payload as well, with a communication system on it. All these payloads came back after experiencing about a 5G takeoff. The rocket achieved a Mach 1.5 velocity, and we got those payloads back. When we recovered the rocket, which came back pretty much intact on a parachute system, we saw those little lights blinking, and all the payloads were alive and returned to their owners. So everybody was extremely pleased. It was a completely successful launch, and a few minor tweaks that we need to do, but you have to find out what might be a slight problem, and you fix it after your flight. Your flight tells you a lot. So the only way to really learn how a rocket performs is to fly it.
So we do have the flight test video now.
We recovered the rocket, which is much intact, on a parachute system. We we saw those little lights blinking, and all the payloads were alive and returned to their owners. So everybody was extremely pleased. It was a completely successful launch, and a few minor tweaks that we need to do, but you have to find out what might be a slight problem. You fix it after your flight. Your flight tells you a lot. So the only way to really learn how a rocket performs is to fly it.
So we do have the flight test. I'm sorry, we're having trouble playing this video. I'll try one more time to get it up. Sorry, we're having trouble with your video. Let me try one more time to get this one to play in a different browser.
Well, if you can't get it to show, they can find it at interorbital.com, interorbital.com, and it's on the main page.
I got it to work in Safari. It turns out that there's an incompatibility with the ad blocking software I have running. I apologize.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We're having your video. Let me try one more time to get this one to play in a different browser.
Well, if you can't get it to show, they can find it at interorbital.com, interorbital.com, and it's on the main page.
I got it to work in Safari. It turns out that there's an incompatibility with the ad blocking software I have running. I apologize.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We're having video.
Well, if you can't get it to show, they can find it at interorbital.com, interorbital.com.
I got it to work in Safari. It turns out that there's an incompatibility with the ad blocking software I have running.
Ignition sequence started. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I got it to work in Safari. So what was it like to see your baby finally fly?
Well, to see my rocket finally fly was really exciting. I mean, it was terrifying. It was exhilarating. It was really almost slightly horrifying, but slightly but overwhelmingly an extremely positive kind of a moment. The terror that comes from launching a rocket like that is, it weighed 1,200 pounds. It was, full of very energetic propellants. Anything could have happened on the first flight, but the fact that it was sitting there inert, for many moons in the lab, and then to see it spring to life with that pillar of fire was astonishing and wonderful. I can't think of anything that I'd rather be doing than building rockets that do work based on that pillar of fire. It's just amazing. It's amazing, just amazing.
Now, Team Synergy, or Synergy Moon rather, is focused on getting a rover on the moon, and the goal behind the Google Lunar XPRIZE is to successfully land on the moon, get a vehicle transported 500 meters, and then send back video to the planet Earth. And the transported 500 meters, lots of different creative solutions are coming up. It can be rovers, walkers, flyers. You just have to get that 500 meters. And your team is working on a beautiful little wheeled robot. Would someone like to discuss the rover that your team has put together for the competition?
Well, I can do it since we are making it here in Boston. 2 years ago, we agreed that we should build a rover from here, I gather around a team of experts in the field of mechanics, electronics, programming, and engineering. Uh, well, I have the team leader of mechanics is Professor Yasmin. He is a creator of the lower chassis and everything, and we have more guys working on the solar panels and electronics, uh, definitely. So basically, what we do, we have made the prototype, and we are right now testing it. What we put inside, it's lots of motherboards, Wi-Fi controller, so we can operate yeah, laptop or Android or iOS device. We can run long distance. We put cameras on board, and I think you have a video to show your.
Yes. Yeah, I can go ahead and pull that up.
You know, there's a bunch of what we do. We have made the prototype, and we are right now testing it. What we put inside, it's lots of motherboards, Wi-Fi controller, so we can operate yeah, laptop, Android.
That's a really neat video showing uh, the robot's eye perspective on the world, which I think is always a cool one to have. There was a kid in that video that was clearly captivated, and I love how your team is working to engage arts and humanity all together in captivating people with the space race. What are some of the things that have been most exciting to you? The Red Hot Chili Peppers launch. What other programs would you like to highlight for our audience? Neb, maybe you can take this one. Oh, okay, go ahead.
I'm just thinking that everybody is involved in some way in the arts on this team, and just as a sideline, Interorbital also has in its, among these 81 payloads that I was mentioning, there is a Synergy Moon telescope. And there are also, in addition to pure science payloads, we have, I think, about 5 different arts and music satellites that are going to be launched. So the fact that that space is really being opened for people other than just just scientists. I don't say that lightly, just scientists, but the rest of the population can consider doing on-orbit activities now that the prices are coming down and access will be available. So we have a space opera from Mexico. We have a project that'll sonify the ionosphere and send down sounds for musicians to use around the world. We have space art projects. We have all sorts of things in addition to the standard types of micrometeoroid measurements and communication experiments and those sorts of things. But so from our side, this is working. But the other people in the group have had like Neb, particularly has had lots and lots of arts background. So maybe he can tell you a little bit more about his angle on it.
Yeah, how to say, I'm a filmmaker, I'm a producer, and I'm coming from all sorts of things, but my parents are professors, both of them, as Kevin is also a professor. So for me, the biggest highlight is kids. There is no two. I live to all these experts, Randa and everybody, you build the rockets, rovers, and everything, but we focus on kids. Show the kids that it's possible, because these kids, they grow up very quickly. Now with new technologies and everything, they're gonna fly these things, by the age of 15, not me, age 45. It's just kids. I've been involved building schools in jungle of Guatemala, and especially underprivileged kids, not kids with MIT, Harvard, blah blah blah. No, we can do it in a backyard, in every single school, especially now with internet, that you can interconnect people, kids from everywhere. So. You never know. All the smart people, innovators, they come really from very funny backgrounds. I don't know, are you aware of, but Nikola Tesla, the one that we can thank for. I mean, you know who the Tesla is. Tesla comes from one village very close to my city. So you and our rover is called Tesla in in honor to this great visionary. We are visionaries, and we are trying to inspire. For me, really, okay, winning the Google Lunar XPRIZE, it would be really wow, great. But inspiring, to be last man on the moon out of all these things, I would be more than happy, honestly. But to inspire the kids, this future generation, now they are flagged with all this, all this blah 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 blah. So what we are doing is go to schools, get the kids to do stuff, get them hands on. This is where Tana is doing a wonderful job. He put all these primary, primary schools and secondary schools, and with the really kids, and they love it. They just don't believe it's. These are the things that we used to watch on TV. Now it's like in your hands. Hey, and we are like real people. Before that, cosmonauts you cannot even touch. Now it's like, oh, this can go to the moon. Oh, good, great. And hey, that's about that. It's about kids, if you ask me. And also the musicians and all this other art stuff and everything, because I have really lots of very good high-ranking friends in music art world, and also as a skydivers, because we also have a project running together parallelly with this one, which is called Free Fly Astronaut Project, for the first person that is with Olaf Zipser, who is one of the best skydivers in the world, who will jump from Randa's rockets. So it will be first skydive from the rocket, and as a and it's also for the safety in a bailout system for the future cosmonauts. So we are into, how you say, into funny. Let's make it funky. Space used to be boring, really. Now let's make it funky. That's how I see it. It doesn't have to be suits and ties and everything. It can be, let's have some fun. That's for me. That's for me.
Actually, the advent of the it's really the dawn of the personal satellite, and in 2009, Interorbital Systems came up with an affordable TubeSat kit, like the CubeSats that are that were happening at that time, the radically reduced kind of almost like a handheld satellite, very tiny, affordable, and we decided to offer our kits and launches to academic groups for $8,000. That was a kit and a launch. And this really sparked interest worldwide. From the tiniest villages in Brazil, through uh, places in most recently in Slovakia, in Sweden, in Canada, in Mexico. Huge interest in Central and South America, where people as young as 11 are in programs building our satellites with the help of their space agency. And so there's a whole crop of students who actually get to build a satellite that will go to space. And I certainly wish I had had a program like that when I was in elementary school or middle school, or even at a university. That wasn't possible, but now it is. So CubeSats and TubeSats made from our kits give people actual hands-on satellite building experience, and it then becomes your personal satellite. So nothing could be better than that.
And you sent me this.
Some of those.
Go ahead.
Some of those projects that Randa was mentioning before, the music projects, the Calliope project. There's one project that's reading radiation signatures from space, turning them into MIDI signals and sending them back down to turn them into music. All of those are being built using some of Randa's TubeSat kits. And as a team, Synergy Moon, we also have an arts program to gather art from anyone all over the world to take with us to the moon. We want to try to have the first interplanetary gallery. So we want to be able to take some art to the moon and display it with projection. We want to be able to take some audio art to the moon and broadcast that back. We're collecting art right now from people all over the world who are submitting audio files and video files, visual art files. So we have a big push to take the arts and the humanities into space with us.
Yes, that's our big moon museum piece, portable museum.
And I deeply appreciate that you're helping people actually get started before you're going to the moon, using moon bounce technologies to at least send the signal round trip while we wait to be able to send the content round trip. And that's a great way to get things started before you're already launching there. Now, how can people get involved in submitting artwork, in finding out more about how they can be involved in all of these programs? Kevin?
Well, we have a couple of ways. We have a call out right now for people to submit video and artwork that you can connect to on our website or on our Synergy Moon Facebook page. We also have an email address, info@synergymoon.com or kevin@synergymoon.com that you can use to make inquiries or just to get more information about the art project or about the film project. We're currently working on a film called Synergy Moon Above and Beyond. Parts of that film will be used as a payload on our moon trip. The film in total will be probably completed late this summer, in the fall, and we'll be using that as one of the tools to help publicize this race to the moon, publicize what we're doing, what the GLXP is doing.
And one of the programs that you're actually currently looking for people to sign up for is your Buzz Aldrin Innovation Institute. And I'm going to go ahead and screen share that website that people can go to if someone would like to introduce what this is for our audience.
Sure. The Buzz Aldrin Innovation Institute is a well, it's part of an organization that's run by Maria Catalina. She has an organization called the Astronaut Teacher Alliance, and they have within that organization locations which are called spaceport academies. So the Buzz Aldrin Innovation Institute is a spaceport academy that's located in Southern California near San Diego. Um, what they plan to do and what they're starting to do there is to run programs that involve middle school students. They're involving them in projects that range from astrobiology, putting together greenhouses and projects that would show how we would grow food, create air, help with recycling on the moon or on Mars, to projects where kids are working on small rovers. They have some kids who are veterans of the first robotics program that are now working with us at the Buzz Aldrin Innovation Institute, working on small versions of rovers. Hopefully we might be able to take one of their small rovers with us on our lunar lander to the moon.
So Nancy Graziano, who's out in the audience, says that she loves your rover design rather, and love is in all caps. So you have a fan out in our audience. So this is a high risk. Neb, you clearly, having sailed a lot, understand high risk with your own life, and now we're doing high risk with rovers. And we have Adam Synergy is asking or stating what happened to you two shows us that getting a fully functional robot to work well on the moon is not easy. How confident are you that everything will go to plan? And I'd also guess I'd ask, how do you turn this into a teachable moment if it doesn't go to plan? Neb, can you talk about the high risks involved with going to the moon?
High risk going to the moon. Can you tell me high risk walking across the street? It's a high risk all the time. So, of course, look, how many Apollo missions was before Apollo 11? How many failures before was a success? You know, so you know, this failure is not failure. If you look at it as a failure, failure is always test. So if something blows up, but at least you try. If you don't try, you don't know. So if we land and something doesn't work, holy crap, we do it again, you know. Or what you cannot look, you cannot do nothing else. At least we are not sending people yet on the moon. So what? We just say goodbye to our rover and say nice trip. You know, even if it crashed, at least we hit the moon. You know, even if we miss the moon, I would be happy. You know, at least we shoot to the moon. You know, shoot to the stars. If we miss the moon, then we go to the deep space, which is even better than this GLXP. I'll go higher and higher. But really, these risks and everything, it's look, you cannot predict nothing. It's far away from that. But look, there is no any other way to know it before you do it. As simple as this.
I will jump on that question to say that this is what we're doing, and we are highly confident in the materials and the motherboards and all the circuits that we have. It's space. It's made just for the space. Since we know that there's moon day and moon night on the moon. Rover needs to hibernate during the moon night, you know, and we have to wake up during the moon day. So during the moon night, the temperatures are very low, and that's the parameters that we are testing right now in special chambers, which are designed to go to the minus 120 degrees Celsius. So I hope, okay, we did the test and it went very well. As far as motherboard, mother circuits, and all the equipment, it was very, very good. I have to say that rover that you just saw, it was a prototype. The real rover is undergoing his building in the workshop right now, and we will soon have access and videos to all of our stuff that we are making. You know, we have do the little bit redesign with the wheels and the traction control and everything, including the camera and Wi-Fi system, all gyroscopes and etc. etc. I cannot pronounce it well in English. So anyway, I'm highly confident in the thing that we are doing right now, and I really hope that it will run more than 500 meters on the moon in that at least it will survive for a few months or even a year.
Can I
Yes.
can I please add one more thing?
Go ahead.
Because when you
Yes.
were asking about these high risks and this selling and everything, one thing that we didn't mention as well, because interorbital systems, they are also developing this for space tourism as well, for taking people up in the space. And I'm the first, I said, guinea pig or test pilot or call it whatever on their first flight for 2 people. I'm gonna sit on that rocket. So this is how confident I am in Rand Road. I'm gonna put my life on that rocket because first of all I want to go to space, and second of all I know she will never put me on the rocket that she doesn't trust it will work. So that's
true. And you in terms of risk mitigation, you know, I mean, we all have to take a risk, you know, every day, as Neb said, walking across the street or every day we get out. But just to be sure that we have the best functioning vehicle to carry this precious cargo to the moon, or to carry precious cargo like Neb, right? We do these test flights, and even though we're paying customers payloads on our satellite launches, those are still essentially test flights for the manned vehicles. Our goal is to set up a manned and cargo transportation system between Earth and Moon, and that's always been the goal of interorbital systems.
And I'm trying to remember the exact quote, so pardon me if I screw it up. I'm not finding as quickly as I'd like. I recently saw with the Mars Curiosity, they didn't use the standard "failure is not an option" tagline. They tried instead, I believe it was "strive to do great things." They changed it, and I appreciate the fact that failure is an option, because if you don't fail occasionally, you never achieve great things. And this is just a really great attitude that you're communicating out to so many
I have
people.
a better one. I have a better one. I have a better one that we
Go.
use all the time, which is, you know, it's not made by NASA or all these big guys. It's made by me one night, which is like most people go to bed to dream. Only few get up from bed to live their dreams. And we are one of the few. I had to say it, sorry.
No, that's an absolutely great way to think of it. Is yeah, and I've seen it. Ian Fleming's, I think, started this with some people die before they ever live, and some people live until the moment they die. And all of us right now are in our own separate ways striving to make everything great. Now, I'm going to ask all of you for one final comment for our audience, but before we do that, I just wanted to remind our audience that this is part of a series of Hangouts that the Google Lunar XPRIZE Foundation has put together so that you can get to know each of the different teams. Our next Hangout is going to be on May 27th, and we're going to be inviting on the Penn State Lunar Lions team and Omega Envoy. These are two different teams that have worked really hard to involve university students in the teams that are striving to get to the moon, rove 500 feet, fly, walk 500 meters, rather, and then send a signal back to Earth. You can catch all of these videos on YouTube if you don't watch them live. We have prior episodes that we'd love to invite you to go in and learn more about the mission, learn more about the milestones, and everything else involved with the Google Lunar XPRIZE awards that these different teams are striving toward. You can find these videos at the Astrosphere Vids channel and on the Google Lunar XPRIZE. If you would like to do your own explorations of the moon, well, not everyone can join a Google Lunar XPRIZE team, but you can all follow along online at the Google Lunar XPRIZE Foundation website, and you can help map out the moon at cosmoquest.org, which is where you can find me most days. I'm going to start with you, Amir. You work with students. You get to see the next generation getting excited. If you can leave our audience with one thought, what do you want them to walk away with remembering?
Well, I'll put it. Okay. Since I was a little kid, and I always told you that I was into the stars, and I was dreaming one day to travel beyond in the universe, and to the space and visit alien planets. And maybe it's funny, but it was my kid dream, and some of that dream is already um, yeah, come true. And what I want to say also is that I'm looking through the telescope every night when it's a clear sky, and I'm the part of that journey. Since thousand years ago, we all was astronomers. We should look at the stars and know how to behave, how to cut our land, in order to make some food, uh, how to survive when it's winter coming, when it's fall, when it's springtime, and when it's summer. So space, space is something you say unbelievable, something something beyond our minds, and I think everybody should involve themselves in the space and try to be a part of at least stargazing or some astronomy classes or astrorobotics. Everything helps.
That is
Yes.
excellent.
And I also want to say that thanks to Maria Catalina, our team leader, um, I already include lots of elementary and middle school classes into a project of late astronaut Sally Ride Earth Camp. So every year, every four seasons, we have one mission. I mean, four missions by every season. Whether it's spring, summer, fall, or winter mission. We are taking pictures of Earth from International Space Station, which is amazing. And students can see the planet from the Earth, and they can actually do some scientific work uh, in space by looking in the picture and analyze the pictures of the clouds, geology, geography, and whatever you want. So it took very interesting in Bosnia, and every mission I have lots of students and professors from even universities are coming to our astronomical society players who are asking us to help them uh, help those children and students understand what is space, to help them understand how the universe works, help them understand how to use telescope and basic things about astronomy and space.
That's awesome. Kevin, what would you want to leave our audience with?
Well, I think I leave everyone with a new perspective on the Google Lunar X Prize. It's more than just a competition. I think the X Prize is more of a movement. It's a movement to bring everyday people, to bring everyone into space. We've had a space race that started between the United States and the ex-Soviet Union, which grew into space exploration, still government run, but involving more and more scientists. In my lifetime, we've sent space probes to pretty much every corner of our solar system, and we've sent people into orbit, and once for a very brief period to the moon. The Google Lunar X Prize is reigniting our movement into space by taking private people, bringing the private sector into the space field. We're putting together private teams, teams like ours, which have no government connection. Indeed, it's one of the rules of the Google Lunar X Prize that you can't have more than 10% government financing as part of your team. So we're trying to bring humanity into space. We're starting off by going to our nearest neighbor, the moon. The Google Lunar X Prize is actually building an industry to send people to the moon and back, an industry that will create the communications that we need to be able to communicate with folks on the moon and back. It's taking everything out of the hands of governments, out of the hands of military, and putting it into the hands of humanity in general. Um, I really appreciate that aspect of the Google Lunar X Prize, and I really want that to be the message that I leave for everyone else. GLXP is about more than who wins this race to the moon. It's about getting everybody into space.
That's an awesome future to work on imagining. And Randa, as humanity works to try and get off this one rock, you're one of the people who's making it possible. What thoughts would you want to leave our audience with?
I'd say stopping at the moon is not an option. On to Venus, on to Mars, on to Titan, Europa, and beyond.
That I think every planetary scientist in the United States who heard that just did a little happy dance at their desk. That is the future that we need. There's so much out there that is so awesome that fiction can't get near the truth of the awesomeness of just Titan and Europa, let alone everything else. Neb, you're one of the visionaries who had the courage to say, yes, let's do this. What do you want the audience to think about?
Okay, first for our audience from Bosnia, if somebody is watching, if he's not watching live, they will watch it as recorded. I was saying in my language, posjeća mi ono bureka u svemir da mu jebe milosnu majku. Verujte mi. That's for our audience in Bosnia. And for my skydiver friends who are lining up to ride on our rockets and to skydive from Randa's rockets and everything, especially to all of Zipser and everything, we pre-fly the black sky. And for the whole, everybody else is just peace, you know, just peace. Everything else doesn't matter, just peace, be happy, you know. And I'm not saying that as a blah blah, it's really just peace. Space exploration is about peace among humanity, you know, about no borders, no limits, no nothing, peace. People, think about it. Ciao.
And I'd like to give a shout out for the folks at Astronomers Without Borders who are currently running an astronomy poetry contest. And remind everyone that it's one sky that we all share. And I know some of the AstroBounce people at Synergy Moon are working with the AstroArt people at Astronomers Without Borders. And thank you for being part of building a global community that is striving to get humans off this rock one small rover at a time. Thank you all for being such excellent guests. I'd remind our audience once again, the next Google Lunar XPRIZE Team Hangout is going to be May 27th. And please keep tuning in, keep learning, and let's all keep exploring our solar system and beyond together. Thank you so much.